Hello everyone and welcome back to Innovaticalls. I am Professor Nikki Eshyaghi from RMIT University in Melbourne, Australia. I am so glad you are here with me today. Over the past few episodes, we have been diving into the world of emotional intelligence. How it helps us become more self-aware, more in tune with others, and better at managing ups and downs of the both academic and professional life. We have explored concepts like social responsibility and reality testing, and if you haven't had the chance to watch those episodes yet, I highly recommend going back to check them out. I will include the links for you so you can easily catch up on everything we have covered so far. Today we are turning the spotlight onto something just as important: problem solving. Now, at first glance, problem solving might seem like it is all about logic, strategy, and critical thinking. And yes, those parts matter. But what makes problem solving truly powerful in the real world is emotional intelligence. You see, emotion shows up at every stage of a challenge. Maybe you feel frustrated when things don't work out, or anxious when the deadline is tight, or even overwhelmed when there is just too much going on. Emotionally intelligent problem solving is not about ignoring those feelings. It's about using them as useful signals. It's about tuning in and working with your emotion rather than being driven or derailed by them. When you are strong in emotionally intelligent problem solving, something beautiful happens. You begin to notice problems sooner before they become overwhelming. You stay more confident in your ability to work through them. You think more clearly, define the challenge more accurately, and begin generating thoughtful solutions even if you are under pressure. Instead of freezing up, doubting yourself, or reacting with panic, you become more grounded. You take action that's based on the understanding rather than fear. Emotion stop being roadblock and start becoming guidepost. So, in this episode, I wanted to help you strengthen that skill. I want to show you what emotionally intelligent problem solving look like in real life and give you practical idea for how to build it in yourself. Let us start with something that's probably familiar to all of us: facing a tough problem and not knowing what to do next. Imagine two people given the exact same difficult task. It could be writing a complicated report, preparing a big presentation, or sorting through a set of confusing data. The first person starts off with energy but quickly runs into the trouble. Maybe the topic is more complex than they expected, or they hit a technical glitch. After a few tries, they start feeling stuck. Their inner dialogue kicks in with the phrases like, "I can't do this. I'm not good enough for this kind of work." That sense of being overwhelmed takes over, and instead of the pushing forward, they began to shut down emotionally. They stop trying. They avoid the task, and before long, the problem gets even bigger. Now let's picture the second person. They face the same difficulty. At first, they also confused, unsure where to begin, but they take a breath, say to themselves, "Let's try one small step." That first try might not work either, but instead of giving up, they stay calm, they keep testing new ideas. If they reach a point where they are stuck, they reach out for help, not to hand the problem off to someone else, but to gain perspective. They keep their emotion in check and use them as a feedback, not as a proof of failure. The difference between these two people doesn't come down to how smart they are. It comes down how they respond to emotional weight of the problem. The second person is practicing emotional intelligence. They are not denying their frustration. They are simply not letting it be the boss. When they feel overwhelmed, they slow down. When they feel stuck, they pause and ask, what's the another way I can try? Or who can I talk who's been through this before? They also manage their self-talk in a more empowering way. Instead of repeating negative thought, they say things like that. This is tough, but I have figured out hard things before. Or this isn't working yet, but I am learning as I go. These simple mental shifts change everything. They keep the mind open, the motivation alive, and the energy flowing. Another powerful skill these individuals show is knowing how and when to ask for help. They do not see asking as a weakness. They do not feel embraced to say, I have tried a few things, but I am still stuck. Can you help me see it from another angle? The willingness to collaborate doesn't just solve problems faster. It also reduces stress and builds a stronger connection with others. Now, let's go back to the first person, the one who felt overwhelmed and froze. What happened there wasn't a failure of intelligence. It was a reaction to emotion that wasn't acknowledged or managed. Their thoughts become tangled with stress. Instead of stepping back and checking it with themselves, they believe those thoughts without question. And that's something we all do sometimes. But what if they had taken just a moment to pause and ask, am I really incapable, or am I just feeling stuck right now? That pause, that tiny window of reflection, is where emotional intelligence begins. Every problem triggers a range of emotional response. Frustration might make you want to quit. Anxiety might make you rush into bad decision. Anger might pull your focus away from solving the issue and into blaming others. But if we get the curious instead of reactive, everything shifts. Frustration might mean it is time to take a break and come back with a clearer mind. Anxiety might mean the task needs to be broken into smaller, more manageable steps. And anger might be a signal that something needs to be communicated, but it needs to be done calmly and constructively. So here is the truth. Problem solving isn't just about thinking. It's also deeply connected to feeling. It is not about pushing emotions away. It's about using them wisely. And it is definitely not about doing everything alone. A strong problem solver knows when to reach out, when to reflect, and when to push forward with confidence. People with high emotional intelligence do not give up when things get tough. They stay engaged, they adapt, they try again. They understand that the problems are not sign of the failure. They are opportunity for growth. Over the time, this mindset doesn't just help them solve problems better. It helps them become stronger, more resilient, and more successful in every area of life. And if you are finding this helpful so far, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you are always notified when we release new episode. It is a small action that helps us reach more people and grow this supportive community we are building together. In the next episode, I will guide you step by step through a practical 6-step process you can use whenever you are faced with a difficult problem, especially when your emotions are high. It's a method you can use again and again in the university, at work, or even in your personal life. Before you go, I would really love to hear from you in the comments. How do you personally handle challenges? What thought or emotion usually come up when things don't go as planned? Is it frustration? Is it fear? Maybe it is determination. Whatever your experience, sharing your story might just help someone else who is feeling the same way right now. Let's create a community where we learn from each other and lift each other up. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I'm truly grateful to have you as a part of this journey. Until next time, take care of yourself, keep learning, and keep growing.